Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Most Accurate Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Akins, joined today and always by my pal, Justin Edwards. Justin, we are at week 17.
It's the end of the road.
It is the end of the show here. It's not the end of the show completely. T-Map will be back. I don't know when. Maybe February, maybe March. Maybe earlier
I'm sure
than
we'll
that.
we'll think of something to talk about. I'm sure.
I mean, last year didn't we do some sort of Super Bowl cocktails and food?
Yeah, we did like foods. We did like a very brief preview, and then we talked about some
Yeah,
foods.
and I vaguely remember doing Pro Bowl stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
so Pro Bowl events. So maybe we'll be back by then. It depends.
yeah.
But either way, this is the last week for most fantasy football leagues. Some people go beyond.
Stop
Uh,
doing that.
but you shouldn't. But yeah, most people, most weeks end this week. Hopefully, you guys are in your championship. I see some people here that are actually watching us, so maybe that means you all are
It's a good
in the
sign.
mix, which is awesome. Uh, Chester, we'll get to your boom kicker here in a bit. There's actually some good ones this week. So yeah, for those of you that are new, I don't know why you'd show up on week 17, but
This
if
is a
you,
weird time to start.
it's a great time to start. This is the streaming show. We cover the 4 streamable positions: quarterback, tight end, kicker, and defense. We also answer your questions. We try not to do start sit. It is the last week, so who knows? We may get a little who knows. And
There's games tomorrow, which
there are
I
games
don't think anyone's that
tomorrow.
enthused about.
I'm fine with it. I just the whole Netflix thing is just there's no way they're going to pull that off. I mean,
Oh, right. Yeah.
they haven't been able to pull off anything live like
They couldn't do a fake boxing match. How are
they
they going
couldn't
to
do a
do
fake
an
boxing
NFL
match,
game?
but even before that, they couldn't do a live reunion for a reality show. Love is Blind, I do watch it, and like a couple seasons ago, they did this. It was a whole promoted big live event, the live reunion, which is literally 6 people sitting on a couch talking, and they couldn't pull it off. It was a disaster. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Before we get into this week's streamers, let's take a quick look back at last week and see how we did. Okay, so week 16, quarterback department. It wasn't so bad actually. Bryce Young was the quarterback too with 27.1 points.
Just
Uh,
like we just like we
just like
predicted.
we all predicted, but he was my third option. My first option was Aaron Rodgers, who was the quarterback 22. Second option I had was Drake May, and he was quarterback 16, which isn't bad, with 17.4 points. And then my final option was Cooper Rush at quarterback 19. So honestly, all 4 were, at least a QB2. So there were no complete disasters, but it was fine considering what we were up against. I think at this point, I can't imagine too many of you are streaming a quarterback in your final, but maybe you are.
Yeah.
It seems like quarterback might be the one where I don't know if you can get through streaming all the way, but maybe. How did you do for tight ends last week?
Terrible. Talking about not being able to stream through to the end. We had Brenton Strange, who fumbled the ball and may have separated his shoulder. So he had 3 targets in the first half and then 1 in the second half. A big old 3.2 points. So
I started him and made it through, just so you know.
okay, good.
He was I actually started him in my flex. It was that desperate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
anyway.
he was on pace to do something decent again. We had Stone Smart. Hayden Hurst was cleared to play, I think, Friday. So that kind of dinged Stone Smart. He came out with 5.2 points as the tight end 22. Mike Shizacki had one of his down weeks as the tight end 32. But we did talk about Chiga Okonkwo. He scored 12.6 half PPR points as the tight end 4. So at least we came out with something. But there were some stinkers last week for sure.
Yeah. Tight end 32, not ideal.
Not great.
Not great. Still, like as we know, tight end is what it is. All right. As far as kicker goes, actually not a bad week in the kicker department, I will say. We had 2 guys we had 3 guys in the top 10. We had Brandon McManus was kicker 5. Cade York, I'm sorry, back up. Brandon McManus kicker 5. Chad Ryland was kicker 4, and only 2 guys. And I'm losing. I can't read properly. Okay, 2 guys in the top 5. McManus, Ryland. Then we had
Yeah.
Cade York and Matt Gay were tied for kicker 13 with 8 points, and then Joshua Carty was kicker 16 with 7. So still,
York knocked in I mean, he got a 59 yarder, so that he almost hit a 60 yarder. That would have been a nice boost if it was one more yard.
Yes, I would have loved that in Scott Fishbowl for I no, I'm sorry, my brain right now. Let's just scrap it. I was thinking about Jake Bates where he tried like a 60 whatever yarder because I started him. I had Cade York on my team, but I didn't start him. Anyway, defenses, how'd you do?
Oh, defenses we actually crushed. The Falcons went out there and scored 25 points. They had at least 2 touchdowns. They had 2 pick sixes. Did they have a third touchdown? I don't remember, but they were the overall defense one, obviously, if you're scoring 25 points. We had the Colts. They scored six points against the Titans. They were the defense 12. We had the Bengals against the Browns. They were the defense 2 at 18 points. And then I kind of cheated with a not in my league bonus. I think the Packers were about 52% rostered, but I talked about going out there and trying to find them if they were available. They were the defense 3 with 17 points. So if we count my cheating of the Packers defense, we got the defense 1, 2, and 3. And then our worst defense on the league was the defense 12. So a fantastic week.
I say it's week 17. I say it counts, Justin.
Yeah. 1, 2, and 3.
Everything counts. Yeah, that was amazing. I actually started the Falcons, which helped me get to my championship. So yay for that. All right. Let's get to the weird sport of the week real quick before we continue. So I tried to find, we did the reindeer run last year. I tried to find a super fun, like Christmassy holiday. I couldn't really find anything. Obviously, there's Santa runs of every variety. There's naked Santa runs. There's Santa whatever runs. They're like in every city.
Plunges? Would you do a polar plunge?
I have done a polar plunge. I was like a teenager when I did it. I don't know if I would do one.
Still do one.
Yeah, I think I would do one. It would depend. It's ridiculously warm here in Colorado that there's no plunging of polar.
Oh, is it?
Now.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's like upper 60s. It's ridiculous. Yeah, there's no white Christmas happening anywhere near here right now. But so basically, we got Santa runs of every variety in every city. I did find something that I found interesting. It is not a holiday Christmas sport per se. It actually happens on Easter, but we're going to pretend that's not the case. It is called coal carrying. So there's the World Coal Carrying Championship is held in the mining district of Yorkshire, UK. The winner receives the title of King of the Coal Humpers. I don't know. Didn't make that up. That's what it's called. It started in 1963 as a dare between 2 men. It's been going on ever since. So basically, the participants carry about 50 kilograms of coal for just over 1 kilometer. And the record so far for the men is 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Like
whoa.
With 50 kilo, like that's faster than most of us run.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
absolutely faster than I run.
Oh, and you have 50 kilograms of coal on your back or carry. I don't know if you have it on your back or you're carrying it, whatever. I haven't found a visual of this, so I guess it's any way you carry it. It's a lot. It's a lot of weight, and to be able to run a kilometer in 4 minutes is it's pretty impressive. So coal carrying, I figured, coal. Christmas.
They should throw this in the combine.
For
running backs, carrying someone on your back as you're trying to run down the sideline.
Yeah, I don't know what I didn't do the conversion on 50 kilograms, but
it's like 35 pounds, I think.
Okay, so you'd have to carry like a child. It wouldn't be a person. I mean, it wouldn't be an adult person. You could carry a child on your back for 1 kilometer.
I also believe that children aren't people until they're like 12.
Right. Well, if you are when you become a parent and you have to carry around a toddler, and it's that's where all of my back and neck issues began. So carrying 50 kilograms of coal for a kilometer. So anyway, there you go. World Coal Carrying Championship.
Say that 5 times to the fast.
Yeah, not going to happen for me. Definitely not today. I am tired. Okay. That is that. We'll get to the streamers. Do we have any questions? Chester, I will get to you in a bit. as far as kickers go.
Chester scored 157 last week.
Nice. Good for you, Chester, and a half PPR. That's pretty good. I think I was kind of right around you there. It was a pretty good week, depending, of course, on who you have.
Kevin got to the championship in 5 of his 6 leagues. Let's go, Kevin.
Nice. Kevin
and lost the only one by 2 points.
Go buy yourself something nice because you are going to get some cash, unless you,
Right.
play just for funsies. But I don't know how many people really do that.
Hey, if you're playing just for funsies and you're getting to championships in 5 leagues, you should probably start playing for money.
Yeah,
This isn't financial advice. I'm just saying, as a friend, I would start playing for money if these are free leagues.
As your friend, Kevin C.
Right.
No, but good for you. That's awesome. And we are happy to be whatever help we could do along the journey.
Hopefully we helped you there.
Daniel, Daniel, who should I start? Just for you, we'll do a start sit, even though.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. 2, Shakir, Jennings, Allen, or JMO. All right. Let me pull up the I don't even know who these people are playing right now. So let's
Kevin says they are all cash leagues. Good. Yeah, go get you some Christmas presents, Kevin.
Go buy some prezzies there. Okay, so we've got I know Allen is playing Seattle.
Okay, not great.
Decent. Jennings, I'm not exactly sure who they're playing the Lions.
Okay. I mean, it could be I wish it was a shootout, but San Francisco's just not looking that hot right now.
Yeah, and then Shakir has the Jets.
Yeah, so Shakir, I think, lock in.
Yeah. Oh, and then
high floor.
Yeah, and then Jameson obviously plays San Francisco if Jennings is playing. So
right.
Okay, we said only pick 2, so we have Shakir. I mean, God, how about Debo last week out of nowhere?
Man, come on.
Right? Remember we had that woman. I can't remember her name right now. I'm sorry. I want to say it's Sophie or Sophia, but she she asked us whether we should drop him, and I said no. At least I was like, you don't want to drop Debo because if he goes off, you're going to be upset that someone else has him.
Yeah.
But how about him just out of nowhere? Just when we've all put him down the disposal, as she said.
Yeah, after he killed all of my best ball shares, he waits until all my teams are dead before he's like, oh, check this out.
Yeah, I would say maybe Shakir and maybe Keenan.
I think that's fine.
I don't love Jennings. I just feel like that offense is weird. You just can't really, and same with Chicago, really. It's not super predictable. Jameson, I mean, I don't hate that.
I think we're probably locking in Shakir, and then maybe we're aiming for Keenan as a floor play and JMO as a ceiling play.
There you go. I like that.
Okay.
That sounds good. All right, let's get to before we get to you, Chester. We'll be back. We're gonna get to quarterback streamers real quick. I kept it. There's only 3. Like I said, I don't know a lot.
Yeah, I cut one off of the tight end and the defense.
Yeah, too. I had a 4th up there, and I was like, you know what? No one's gonna be starting this person.
There's only 2 teams in every league playing, so it's like
right.
We're like talking to so many people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So anyway, we've got 3. Drake May is the best option this week. He is at home against the Chargers. He is 14% rostered. How about let's talk about Drake May for a second? Okay, he took over Jacoby Brissett in week 6. He's the quarterback 13 since then.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, the guy got no respect, and here we are. LA is 19th in quarterback adjusted fantasy points allowed, so they're definitely permeable. The good thing about Drake May, he is averaging 37.7 rushing yards a game. So you're looking at 4 points right there off the clip. So I think Drake May is your best option. Second guy I have on here is Cooper Rush. He's playing in Philly, which is not great. He's only 10% rostered, but not the best matchup. Philadelphia's 5th against the quarterback. But he's averaged 16.1 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks. The one thing about Cooper Rush that I kind of found interesting, he's only thrown 2 picks since becoming the starter. So in 8 contests, he's only thrown 2 interceptions. So he's an option. Third guy I have here is Bryce Young, coming off that big QB2 performance last week.
Wild.
He had no turnovers and 3 touchdowns. The Bucs are certainly vulnerable. They're last in quarterback adjusted fantasy points allowed. So I think those 3, I'd rank them in that order, I guess. May, Rush, and Young. Hopefully you don't have to use any of them for your championship. But if you do, I don't think it's the worst.
Yeah. It's especially Bryce Young's been like going back to, I guess not going back. He's never really scrambled in the NFL, but he used to scramble in college. And now this last month or so, he's been taking off with the ball a little more, which keeps him out of the QB 30 conversation and puts him closer to like QB 15, which is a huge upgrade.
Yeah, no, totally. So those are the quarterbacks. Let's you want to run through some tight ends real quick?
Yeah, I can
not real quick. You can do them at your leisure, but just
we'll see. I've got 4 guys here, and there's only one I honestly would be trying to play in my fantasy championship match, and it is Chig Okonkwo. We talked last week how in limited Mason Rudolph time back in week 15, Okonkwo had a 30.7% target share. That's obviously, I mean, it's presumably obviously unsustainable. But then he came in last week and had a 26.5% target share, which was only behind Brock Bowers and David Njoku. He turned his 9 targets into a 9 for 81 stat line. This week they get the Jaguars, who rank 30th in schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed to opposing offenses, and they are 25th against tight ends. He's still available in 93% of Yahoo leagues, so you can really go get Chig Okonkwo anywhere you want. And honestly, I am going to rattle off the rest of these 3 guys. We've got Juwan Johnson against the Raiders. He had a pretty crappy performance last night. Sunday night?
No,
was it last night?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just like, what day is?
Yeah. I hear you. It was last.
But yeah, that whole game was miserable. I think that may have been the first. Was it the first shutout in the league this season?
It was rough. I was doing other things. I had it on, but I can't say I was heavily paying attention.
I was doing the same. I had like what was it even on? I had like the ESPN tab open, and I was just doing other things.
Yeah,
doing more interesting things, if we're being honest. But anyways, Juwan Johnson out there, pretty crappy game with Spencer Rattler. Things should be presumably better against the Raiders. We'll see about that. They have allowed the second most schedule adjusted fantasy points to the tight end position since week 6. So Juwan Johnson is an option. Brenton Strange, our next option here at 32% rostered. We talked about how he fumbled and then kind of got in the doghouse and then also might have a shoulder injury. So on that, he's kind of an option for you. And then Isaiah Likely is kind of a touchdown or bust option. We know he has been completely usurped by Mark Andrews, who was presumably still dealing with that injury from last year in the first month of the season. So Isaiah Likely as the tight end 2 on his own team is probably not someone I'm trying to play. But if maybe you have a week 18 championship and there's still 4 teams left, or you're playing in a tight end premium league, you can use Juwan Johnson, Brenton Strange, or Isaiah Likely. If you're in any sort of normal league, I would just go with Chig Okonkwo once again.
That works for me.
That's all of our terrible tight end options for this week. I do honestly like Okonkwo though. I think he has a floor now. He can score 6 to 14 points, unlike the rest of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm happy to see it. To be honest with you, we've been kind of pounding the table quietly for Okonkwo for a while, and it hasn't panned out. It's one of those things. I finally learned his name properly, and then he went away.
I know, isn't that? I'm like, I don't even have to look up Chigizium, like how to spell it.
Yeah, me either.
I know how to spell Okonkwo, and then he left fantasy radars, and I was like, come on, man. It took so long for me to figure out how to spell your name.
Finally got there. And all right, Chester, let's see what you got here. You got should you start Metcalf, McMillan, or Hollywood Brown? Okay. Metcalf, that's a rough start right now. They're playing the Bears. I know that. Let's see. McMillan. I like McMillan. They're playing the Panthers. What's the other option? Oh, Hollywood Brown. Yeah, he had a decent
man, he ran like 15 routes and had like 7 targets.
Yeah, and I think this week he should probably run a little more. So ooh.
I know I lost my hotspots tab somewhere. I'm like trying frantically to find it.
I have mine, but I'm actually looking at something else real quick.
Casey has Pittsburgh, which isn't exceptional, but I do kind of like Hollywood.
I don't know that it would be DK. Like, I think I would sit him. I just don't trust him. I mean, JSN has kind
kind
of
of
taken
usurped that
over.
role.
Yeah, and they're
Tampa has Carolina.
yeah, I know, which is good. That's I mean, it's the best matchup of all three, but
Yeah.
I mean, McMillan has, I believe he has scored 3 weeks in a row. He scored 4 touchdowns 3
Yeah,
weeks in a
four.
row.
Yeah, 4 in the last 3 games.
Yeah. So, God, that's a tough one, Chester.
Like,
Uh,
do you just put it on the table and go with Hollywood Brown?
I mean, that's
Is it
the
too
thing.
cute?
Like, I don't know if it's too cute. Like, I feel like McMillan is interesting, but I feel like he's more of an upside guy, right? McMillan could kind of get nothing, or he could also have an 80-yard touchdown. I think Hollywood might be the most consistent, which is scary. We've only had one little sample,
I know.
but he, I mean, he had 45 yards on he had 8 targets, which he turned into 5 catches for 45 yards.
Yeah.
He was only on the field for 27% of the snaps, but I have a feeling, he should increase. And he's also attached to Patrick Mahomes versus, gosh, that's a tough one.
I know. I think I'm kind of leaning Hollywood. I don't think KC can afford to like let the foot off the gas here. Like they presumably should have the number 1 seed, but if they lose out, don't the Bills get it?
Is that it's on the road though in Pittsburgh. That makes it a little bit uglier.
Hey, they'll have George Pickens back. Maybe they can actually score some points on the other side.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Chester says Mahomes is his quarterback. Should we stack him up?
Oh, interesting, Chester. Yeah,
I'm gonna lean Hollywood. Screw it.
Yeah, I like
Earn that
Hollywood.
championship.
I like Tyler Sperry says that Lockett is hurt, which I don't know. I don't know if I would trust DK right now with that. But then again, listen, the good news is you have 3 viable wide receivers here. The fact that we're spending 5 minutes on this question,
right? Yeah,
it's not So yeah, you're just. I think we both kind of lean Hollywood, but
I think I'm going Hollywood.
I don't hate McMillan though either. Okay, sorry, we're moving on here.
All right, sorry, Chester.
Yeah, Tyler,
check back with us, or I guess they play tomorrow, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Tyler. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't understand what you wrote, but I see underneath. I think he's asking Bryce Young or Stafford.
Okay.
I mean, Bryce Young looking good. I just recommended him. He's playing Tampa Bay, who is dead last against the quarterback. Stafford, I know, crap the bed this week because my husband was very upset because he lost his game because of Stafford. I didn't. So yeah, the Rams
got Arizona.
Yeah, the Rams have Arizona. I mean, I feel like it should be Stafford, but I kind of want to get cute and start Young there.
Look, I'm kind of leaning towards Young. They get Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has been an absolute siege for the passing game.
No, I know. And they've had their moments.
Their defense has been pretty great.
They've had some bad moments, but they've also had some good ones. So I think we both kind of lean Young.
I'm thinking Young.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. Oh, let's move on to Prize Picks. We know Prize Picks for this week. We know there's a ton of options out there for real money sports action. We have found one that really stands out from the rest. It's Prize Picks. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everyone. Prize Picks is so easy to play, and now you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as few as just 4 correct picks. One thing I really like is that Prize Picks is also the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If you sign up today, you will get $50 instantly when you play just $5, and that $50 bonus is guaranteed whether you win or not. All right, before I get into my play for this week, I do want to say last week, I don't know if you remember, I had Cooper Rush getting more than 2.5 rushing yards.
He got negative yards, didn't he?
-4, yeah. So I just figured I'd point that out.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah, just a bit outside. Yeah. Listen, you can't win them all. I was on a good streak before that. So this week, I am actually going with Xavier Worthy to have more than 3.5 rushing yards against Pittsburgh. So he has had 3 rushing attempts in the last 2 games, and then he's had 7 total in the last 3 contests, with a total of 45 yards and a touchdown on the ground. So I feel like if he even gets like 1 or 2 carries, this thing hits. So I like Xavier Worthy to get more than 3.5 rushing yards against Pittsburgh. So download the app today. Use code TMAP, TMAP, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, just download the PrizePicks app and use the promo code TMAP to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, Tyler. That's a good call, too. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. All in one show. Let's wait till we get till defenses and we'll do that. Chester wants to know Richardson against the Giants or Mahomes against Pittsburgh.
Probably Richardson.
Yeah. I would have to agree. It's tough though. Like, when you're setting your lineup and you're looking and you're like, ugh.
Don't really want to start Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, the Giants are actually 12th against the quarterback, so they're not super soft, but
I think I'm probably going A-Rich there.
Yeah, I am too. I don't love it, but I get it, and I'm doing that as well. Okay, I'm gonna get to kickers here. I'm gonna go through that. There's actually some really good kickers this week, and all of them but one are under 10% rostered. So there's a lot of widely available good kickers this week. So first one is Joshua Carty against Arizona. He is only 5% rostered. So right now the Rams are the 3rd seed in the NFC. So they are playing for things to keep on rolling. They are 6-point favorites right now against the Cardinals, and they have a 27.5 team total, which is, I believe, the 3rd on this week's slate. So Joshua Carty is my number 1 option there. Second guy I have this week is Cade York. He's against Denver. He is also 5% rostered, and he is at home in Cincinnati. They are in the playoff hunt. They're not seeded at the moment, but they are still in the mix.
Trying.
They're not out. Let's just put it that way. They do not have the asterisk of eliminated next to their name. So they are still in the mix. They are a field goal favorite over Denver with a 26.5 team total. So he's a decent option. Third guy I have is Zane Gonzalez. He is at home as well against Atlanta, and he is 9% rostered right now. Washington is 7th right now in the NFC, so they are punching a ticket, looking to probably move up if they can. They are 4-point favorite over the Falcons with a 25.5 team total. So I like him as well. Fourth guy, the 4th and 5th guy are actually playing against each other, but the 4th guy I have is Will Reichard. He is at home against the Packers. He is 8% rostered. The Vikings right now are 5th in the NFC. Once again, also this is a pretty big game because the Packers are the 6th. I mean, they're battling.
Yeah.
Right now, it's basically a pick 'em, but right now the Vikings are 1.5-point favorites with a 25.25 team total. On the other side of the ball, we have Brandon McManus. He is playing on the road, like I said, in Minnesota. He is 30% rostered. And like I said, it's basically a pick 'em. I mean, they're right now projected to lose by 1.5 points, but score 23.75 in the loss. But so I think all 5 are actually very good options. The first 4 are 9% rostered or under, so are probably there in your league. And then Brandon McManus is 30% rostered, but he's had a really good, tenure with the Packers, especially I believe he's kicker 3 or 4 over the last 3 or 4 weeks. So he's doing well there. So we'll do a quick little wrap up there. We got Joshua Carty, Cade York, Zane Gonzalez, Will Reichard, and Brandon McManus. So back up to Chester. It wasn't really a question. It was just need a boom kicker. So there you go. I think any of those will be fine for you. Like I said, in order, I would put Cardi at the highest just based on the process and the numbers. But I think honestly, all of them should do you right this week. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go to defenses, knock those out real quick, and then we'll just, because some of these questions are about defenses and whatnot.
Okay.
So why don't you give us your defenses, and then we'll kind of answer the rest of the questions.
Yeah, plenty of good options this week. Bad defenses against bad offenses, but we don't care about that. We don't care how good the defense is, just that the other offense is not very good. And that's the case with the Jaguars hosting the Titans. Whether it's Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, it doesn't really seem to matter. They just keep giving the ball away. Rudolph threw 3 interceptions last week, and though he does have a much better pressure to sack rate than Will Levis, he makes slightly less boneheaded decisions that keep leading to turnovers. So really anyone playing the Titans is a good pick. The Tennessee Titans managed to score only 6 points in this exact same matchup back in week 14. So I think the Jaguars have a very high floor as a DST. We have the Seahawks against the Bears. Caleb Williams and the Bears offense looked a lot better last week, but the quarterback still took 17 pressures and 2 sacks. The Bears still ranked 28th in schedule adjusted fantasy points allowed to opposing defenses. The Raiders at 10% are also a good pick, even though they're missing Max Crosby. Spencer Rattler faced an unheard of 52.6% pressure rate last night. So that should lead to plenty of fantasy goodness with sacks or turnovers, or, maybe Jake Hayner's out there. It doesn't really matter if the offensive line is not holding up. And then in the not in my league bonus, the Dolphins are rostered in 48%, but I would probably check them first above all the other options to make sure they're not available. DTR and the Browns allowed Cincinnati to score 18 fantasy points against them just a couple days ago. The team may move back to Jameis Winston, but we know how that typically goes about. He is also a pick 6 machine, much like Will Levis. So to recap, check to make sure the Dolphins aren't available. If they are, they would be the top play at 48% rostered. Behind them, the Jaguars at 10%, the Seahawks at 20%, and the Raiders at 10% are all very good streaming options. You're muted, Jen.
Oh, okay. It's the last show.
Well, I guess she doesn't care.
No, I do care. Even though it is the last week, I do care because I actually need to stream a defense. So I'm right there. I'm in the caring department. Okay.
Let me grab this all in one show real quick. Let's see, Tampa plays. Where am I? Oh, it is the last show of the year, isn't it?
Tampa plays Carolina. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And then Denver plays
your team there, the Bengals.
Oh, don't start the Broncos. You want Burrow to hang 40 on you? Definitely don't play the Broncos. I think Tampa Bay would be the better choice there. I would rather play the Dolphins. I might rather play all of those teams I just mentioned. I would say like it goes like Dolphins, Jaguars, Tampa, Seahawks, Raiders, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, he's asking your opinion, or I'm sorry, he or she. Listen to me. Assuming. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can play Tampa. Even against Carolina, I don't think you can play Tampa.
Yeah.
And Denver, if it was home, I would maybe make a plea for that, but I understand what you're saying. All in one show does have another question. Is Kelsey sittable? I think it depends on who else you have.
Yeah, they also say they have Brenton Strange and they can pick up Okonkwo.
I didn't see that.
I would definitely pick up Okonkwo and drop Strange. And then, I mean, it's kind of, honestly, I would still play Kelsey, but not by much. I mean, Okonkwo, I think, is neck and neck. So it's kind of up to you.
Yeah, I would drop Strange, pick up Okonkwo, and then just sit on it for a little bit. You don't have that much longer to sit on it because they do play tomorrow.
I know. You gotta sit on it until tomorrow at
noon. Sit on it for a little longer.
But I would also, in case, I mean, I don't know, you only have one opponent left. if they have a questionable tight end, I think it's worth it to pick up a Okonkwo so that they can have them.
Yes. Defense is very important for this final game as well. Okay, Chris, I have Hurts. If he does not play next week, who would you guys pick at quarterback between Geno, Caleb, Russell, or Bryce?
It feels less than 50-50 that Hurts plays. I feel like I have him in one championship league, and I'm already planning on not starting him. If he plays, obviously you're going with him. But
so you actually won with him
yeah, I did some pretty good. I did some nice stuff.
You mean with the other members of your roster is what you're saying?
Yeah, I crushed.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know everyone wants to hear about my fantasy team, so I'm gonna tell you that the points per first down league that John Paulson started with a lot of the people in the industry. I have led wire to wire. I have been winning since week 1, like absolutely crushing first place by a lot. And with the first round bye, and then I lost. I haven't lost since week 1, just so you know.
Was it a Hurts team?
Yeah, I lost because I had Hurts, and it's yeah, I just could not recover.
You hate it. You hate to hear it.
It was a super flex, and I had Hurts, and and Jameson just crushing for a while, and then it's a best ball, so there's no moves to be made, so you're stuck with who you have.
Right.
So my only viable quarterback was Caleb Williams last week, and I lost. So bummer.
Stinks.
But if Hurts does not play, let's just at least answer the question, Chris,
yeah.
instead of veer off on my own fantasy.
I feel like this is still Bryce. Are we too high on Bryce Young this week?
I'm right there with you. I don't think we're too high on him. I'm low on these other guys.
Yeah, I mean, even with Pickens back, Russell Wilson's still like the quarterback 21. Like, you're not starting him. Geno obviously can.
Yeah, and they're playing the Chiefs. It's not like it's an easy. So
yeah, and the Bears defense has been better, so I don't really want Geno. Yeah, Caleb could go out there and score 8 points in any given week.
I think you have Bryce against the most vulnerable defense in the NFL. I don't think we're too high. I think it just makes sense. So
yeah, so I definitely grab Bryce Young, and then you just hope we get a little Christmas miracle with Jalen Hurts back on the field.
All right, we got Alex, DJ Moore, Juwan Jennings, Adam Thielen. Start 2.
Wait, what did Adam Thielen just do? Leggett is back. We know that he'll be back, but I still like Thielen.
Against Tampa Bay. I mean, we're sitting here pumping up Bryce Young. How do we?
Right. Yeah. Thielen and DJ, right?
Yeah. That's where I lean without actually looking at anything. But
and then you get a nice mix of floor and ceiling. Adam Thielen will get you 6 for 50 and maybe a touchdown, and DJ Moore could possibly pop off for like 160. And then you get a trophy and maybe some money or bragging rights. And
I mean, the thing is, Jennings against Detroit, like, I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I just, there's if last week Debo situation didn't happen, I'd be like, okay, Jennings and Thielen.
Right.
But all of a sudden, Debo has found his footing there in that offense, and they used him, and he did well last week. So I think you sit Jennings, but it's not. It's very close. That's a tough one, Alex. Okay. Oh, are we at the end of the line?
Yeah.
We are. All righty. Well.
Well.
Well, this is the last streaming show for 2024. We will not be here next week, same time, same channel. Like I said at the beginning of this, there's a lot more people listening right now than were in the beginning. So I will repeat. I'm not sure when we'll be back, to be honest. I know last week we did a couple Super Bowl shows. We did a couple Pro Bowl shows. I believe that was sponsor related. So I'm not exactly sure if we'll be back or not.
So maybe this time we'll just come back for fun.
Yeah, we might just come back for funsies. I don't know. It's TBD when we'll actually be back. Maybe it'll be sometime this season. It may be, February, March for free agency and trades and whatnot. We'll have to see. Everyone have a fantastic holiday, whatever you celebrate.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Back to everyone else. Very safe, happy holiday season. Enjoy the likely shit show that will be tomorrow on Netflix. Can't wait to check that out.
Right.
I can't wait to check out social media when everything crashes and we won't be able to see the games. But anyway, I hope you guys all win your championships, all hoist that trophy, and buy yourself something fun when it's over. Justin, you have anything to say to the folks?
No, just appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a ton of fun these last few months. This is my first year as a co-host and not just kind of jumping on intermittently. So it's been nice to chop it up with you, Jen, over the last 17
Absolutely.
weeks.
Yep.
We were, week 6 comes around and you're like, oh my goodness, it's only week 6. And then now it's week 17 and it feels like it flew by. So
it did, but I'm also ready. I need some,
I'm ready.
I need some downtime. I need some non-football brain time. But first we got to win some championships. So
right.
Thank you all for joining us as usual. Take care. We will see you soon.